on top with a 3-point advantage over Leeds, who are second. Hull are in third. They have the game in hand as well. Wigan in fourth, Saints in fifth. London, Castleford and Warrington and Wakefield all knocking on the door of the top 5 now. The Bradford Bulls, they will line up at full strength. Michael Withers, Savita Vaikona, Scott Naylor, Lee Gilmore, Leon Price, Henry and Robbie Paul, the captains. The forwards, Joe Bangener, James Lowes, Brian McDermott, Daniel Gartner, Jamie Peacock, Mike Forshaw. And on the bench, look at the strength here. Anderson, Rigon, Mackay and Fielden. The coach is Brian Noble. No Paul Deakin, no Lee Radford. They're omitted. They'll play in the Origin on Tuesday. Now the Saints, they've had to reshuffle to cover the injured Martin and Long. Stewart is the fullback. Hall, Iro, Newlove and Sullivan. Sculthorpe slots in at standoff. Paul Wellens moves to scrum half. And the forward pack, Nicol back after suspension. Cunningham, Fairley, joined the captain Shields, and Hoppy plays in the pack for the first time for Saints. And on the bench, Yonkers, Cruikshank, Hyam and Edmondson. The coach is Ian Millward. Perfect night for Super League, perfect night for these two top teams to give us an absolute treat. It's the Saints against the Bulls at the home of the World Club Champions, and the match referee is Bob Connolly, and he will be also in charge of that Origin game at Headingley on Tuesday night. So the Saints won the Challenge Cup against the Bulls 5 weeks ago, 13-6 in a disappointing final. I don't think we'll be disappointed about this. Sculthorpe palms the ball back. It was a short kick-off from Bradford. Saints were ready for it. And this is Sean Hoppy now for St Helens. Steve-O, the league leaders against the world champions. It don't come much better than this.
It will be a cracker. You just sent it already, the crowd warming to it. Good run there from Cunningham. They can't allow him to run like that. Otherwise he will split them apart. Ian Millward looks calm, cool and collected, even though he's without the 2 stars.
Yes, he was quoted in the papers this week as saying, well, the tougher it gets, the better we rise to the occasion. And this is a great start from St Helens, and in particular from Kieran Cunningham.
Well, that's 30 metres is just pinched there.
Sculthorpe to Yonkers. It's now with Shields. Shields releases the ball, and it's continued on by Wellens. Wellens' pass, though, is gobbled up by Leon Price. But what an opening set from the Saints.
Unbelievable play there by St Helens. They just appear to have the wood all the time on the Bradford Bulls. But wonderful play there from Kieran Cunningham on 2 occasions. The Bradford coach, Brian Noble, he'll be absolutely disgusted at the way that they allowed him to run so easily.
Early days yet. This is Henry Paul. Gets the ball away to Danny Gartner. Iro was there. He got away from Iro, but he didn't get away from Peter Shields. Lowes at dummy half. Henry Paul again. Flicks the ball back. Peacock. Big collision between him and Tim Yonkers.
Stood his ground though, did Yonkers. St Helens playing a very tight sliding defence. You can see that they're virtually in one half of the pitch.
Chip over the top was by Robbie Paul. This now is Sean Hoppy. And Hoppy comes across and flat. And in the end, Henry Paul was leading the 3 men who were in there to cut him down. Bright, breezy evening, and they lost the ball.
That'll be the knock-on. The first mistake coming from the skipper, Chris Joint. A bad mistake too.
That's uncharacteristic.
Look at this, how Cunningham, so much speed. He went past about 5 or 6 and then he did it yet again. Oh, that was very poor marking by the Bulls. They'll have to tighten up in that department. He's the best in the world, is Kieran Cunningham.
But this is a huge opportunity for the Bulls now. It's with Mike Forshaw. He gets them to within 12 metres of that St Helens line. A very big set of 6 coming up here. Robbie Paul skirting, passes the ball inside. And that was Scott Naylor. Cunningham was the first to get to him. Naylor does a forward roll, gets to his feet. Here now is Peacock. Peacock driving it in. Can the St Helens line stand firm? 3 tackles gone. Bradford inching towards that line. Lowes, they go the short way. Vaikona is in. First try to Bradford. Tavita Vaikona, the try scorer. First time they threatened the St Helens line, and they get over for the try, and it's the Tongans' 9th of 2001.
Super play by the hooker, James Lowes. Short blind side, scampers away. Oh, Sullivan was caught out of position. Vicona in for an easy four-pointer, and they know it too. But quick thinking from the hooker. And look, he was in no man's land there was Anthony Sullivan. Vicona barely got a fingertip to him. This is a mistake, and you could see there that Chris Joynt took his eyes off the football, looking at the man coming to him. No eyes off the football on this occasion. The Bulls, first opportunity, they chalk points.
46 tries now. This is his 81st start for Bradford. Tavita Vicona, 4-0 the Bulls. Henry Paul then on his 250th appearance in the British game. Can he make it the perfect start? Hits the post. Tried to float it under the wind. Bradford playing into the breeze first half. They lead though 4-0.
Sullivan circle, he's inside. Vicona's on the outside. Perfect start. Well spotted and well finished by the big winger. He's happy, and why not?
Well, the Bradford Bulls beat St Helens on the opening weekend of Super League 6 in March, 31-24. They trailed 14 points to 22 at one stage, and they have won the last 3 in Super League against St Helens. But when it's really mattered, the 1999 Grand Final, last year's playoff series, and the Challenge Cup final 5 weeks ago, the Saints have won. And that's a big blunder right from the kick-off.
They do have the very strong wind behind them, St Helens, and they would have been better served to have a challenge for that. Letting it bounce to drop out, and it's going to be a strong wind that they're dropping into as well. This will hang.
Well, you might notice that Tim Yonkers is out there on the field, though he wasn't named to be in the starting lineup for St Helens. Ian Millwood has sold everybody a bit of a dummy here. Yonkers has come in, and he is there. Hall is not.
Well, he gave the indication that Sean Hoppy had gone into loose forward. He stayed out on the wing. Ducks and Drakes.
It's with Wellens. Here's Sculthorpe, now Stewart, the fullback chiming in. 5 minutes of the match gone, and St Helens looking to respond with Chris Joynt, whose mistake presented the gift. There's Ian Millwood. He's trying every trick in the book here tonight. Fairly, back it goes. Sculthorpe on the charge. He offloads. It's picked up by Fairley again.
It came off a Bradford player. They'll be back to 6.
No, this is the last.
Oh, the crowd don't like it. I think the referee's got it wrong.
Quick hands from Saints. Joynt in. Joynt levels things. Joynt, who cost St Helens a try 3 minutes ago, gets the world champions back on level terms.
They didn't need the extra 6. How many times has this guy come up with a try against the Bradford Bulls? Nearly every time they play, that's the play on there. Good decision by Robert Connolly. Shields played the ball quickly. Quick hands. Sculthorpe, oh, that was great stuff. Stewart onto the skipper. And as Eddie mentioned, his mistake cost them a try, but he's levelled the ledger with that one. This is going to be a cracker. Hold on to your seats.
Well, Chris Joynt, of course, got that last-minute try against the Bradford Bulls here last year in the playoffs. Who will ever forget that moment? Who was fortunate enough to be here or watching it on Sky Sports. And there's Sean Long. He's waiting to enter hospital for the operation on the knee. He's next all but one to his coach, Ian Millwood. And Tommy Martin, by the way, his partner-in-chief, is at home and watching this. It's his birthday apparently on Monday. He's told all the players he's 27. I think he can add a few more onto that. But he's got a barbecue tonight at home, and he is watching this match on Sky Sports. Happy birthday, Tommy. You're sadly missed.
27?
Sculthorpe with the kick, which Tommy would normally be doing, or Sean, for all. The kickers have missed, but the tries count.
You can see how Naylor has been sucked out. They've got 2-man overlap. Didn't need it. Joynt came late, through the dummy. Nothing Vicona could do about that either. Never say die attitude, this fella, Chris Joynt. Just does not know how to give in.
Well, no Sean Long for the rest of the year. Tommy Martin still way short of a return. It's a test of how the Saints players respond, and a test also of Ian Millwood.
Well, it was a neat kick-off, and Leon Price claims that he released the ball. No, the touch judge has got it right. He still has the ball, I think, when it hits. Oh, 50-50.
An inch.
Well, to be fair, even on the slow motion, we had to look at it twice. So fair credit to the touch judge. I think he got it right.
Cunningham again offloads it back, and Fairley, who is having a wonderful season for St Helens.
Well, when the Bradford lineup was announced, I got the impression that the Bulls were going to just tough it out. They feel they would have the strength all across the park. On the bench, Anderson, Regon, Mackay and Field, and that's pretty heavy stuff out there.
That's high. It was a high tackle on David Fairley, and it was from Brian McDermott.
High tackle.
Well, the big fella went straight at him, no doubt about it, right across the nose. And David Fairley, he's taken quite a few of those in his time.
Yes, he's quite a star, but that's Brian McDermott, who is also a star. 4 caps for Great Britain. And he's part of the awesome foursome for the Bulls. There's McDermott, Wangener, Fielden and Anderson, the big 4 prop forwards who are rotated to such good effect by Brian Noble. The awesome foursome.
Well, this could be a trouble double, couldn't it?
I thought you'd try and trump me.
The way you deal the cards? No way.
Well, Sculthorpe, the old-fashioned kicker with the little mountain of sand rather than the plastic kicking tee, and the wind is swirling around Knowsley Road tonight, but it is at St Helens' backs in this first half.
It will play a big part as well. It is very strong indeed. Really is blowing right down the field to the advantage of Saints. This will go like a rocket.
Chance here then for Sculthorpe. He's hit the post, he's sliced it. It's bounced back to Forshaw. Forshaw was greeted by Wellens, was finished off by Hoppy. Lowe's. It was dipping in front of Henry Paul, but he managed to hang on to it just the same. This is Naylor.
That could be a costly miss. I don't think there'll be too much between these two sides at the end of 80 minutes. I know one thing, they're going to be tired guys out there. This is going to be a tough encounter.
Well, Paul Sculthorpe got 5 goals against Huddersfield last week. His first stint as a regular kicker when Sean Long went off. This is what it looks like in all meetings between these two since 1973. The next statistic, though, will be the telling one. What has happened here at Knowsley Road? Look at that, just 5 wins for Bradford in all those years.
Not a happy hunting ground over the years, is it? But it's at the present at the moment. They've got the overlap.
Yes, they have space. Gilmore stabs the ball forward. Oh, that bounced off the chest. And Wellens manages to shuttle the ball down. He will bring it back for the knock-on.
Quick thinking though. Gilmore putting boot to ball. Oh, that really just skipped up. That was a bad one.
Yeah, it shot up at the last minute for Paul Wellens.
Very difficult indeed. It just came off the point at the end of the ball, straight into him. Well, first a mistake from Joint, got Vicona a try. Will they do the blindside move again? Vicona's in the standoff position.
This is Henry Paul. He flicked the ball back. Lowe's was there. Now it's with Peacock. And Peacock, he's grounded, but Steve-O's right. The last time we had the knock-on and Bradford had head and feet in that situation, they scored. Forshaw looking to do same again here. Saints trying to tighten that defence. Nickel with the challenge. Lowe's looks wide and finds Robbie Paul. To Gilmore, they're in again. Carbon Coffee moves. Carbon Coffee try on the side of the field. Lee Gilmore with the try. Try number 6 this year for Gilmore. Hat-trick against Salford last week. He's on fire.
Sure is. Superb long pass there out to Robbie. Come on, the lunge. Nothing that they could do about it. Kevin Iro was caught short. All came about by good work from Gilmore. The mistake, yet again, from the fullback Wellens. Superb pass. Gave him space. But that is what happens when you come running onto the football. Gilmore, he is in red-hot form. Playing
really well in the centre, Lee Gilmore, but they are tipping him to play in the pack in the Origin game on Tuesday night at Headingley. Henry Paul, 1,375 points in his British career, 1,377 points in his British career now for Wakefield, Wigan and the Bulls.
There you see Iro is in two minds. The man circled out wide, runs onto the football, bang! Only a half attempt. You're not going to stop him with that. Well, he said for over the last 2-3 seasons, he hated being switched from the forward to the three quarters. He feels this is his best position in the centres, and boy oh boy, he's repaying the faith that Brian Noble in selecting him there.
And that went back off the chest of Brian McDermott. St Helens aren't happy with it, but it did go back.
Of course it did.
Bangman picked it up. Here come Bradford now in the shape of Gartner. He looked over the shoulder, tried to get it away to Gilmore, but couldn't. Yorkshire against Lancashire, don't forget, that Origin game, which will be packed with players from Bradford, Saints, Wigan, Leeds. It's on Tuesday, it's live and exclusive, you'll see it nowhere else. Sky Sports 1, 7:30 next Tuesday.
Good run.
Steve-O in the white corner, Phil Clark in the red.
Come on the whites, that is for sure. I must say though that Bradford, mixing and matching with the switching of play, and they're using Jamie Peacock way out wide outside the centres. He's making good ground too.
Midfield bomb from Robbie Paul, that will swirl and hang. Well claimed though by Wellens.
So calm, isn't he?
Wellens looks like he's operating somewhere between scrum half and full back, Steve-O. Obviously when Bradford are in possession, I presume
he's dropping back.
He'll drop back.
Yeah, well they know in this wing the ball will be hanging. Nice step from Newlove.
Lovely step from Paul Newlove. A £500,000 signing from Bradford Bulls in 1995, and he gets the penalty. And Bradford are marched 10 metres for back-chatting by Scott Naylor.
Well, I've said it all along this season. I wish they'd just get on with the job.
He's in the bin.
Now, how stupid is that?
Scott Naylor is in the bin.
I cannot believe. I've said it all season that they've got so much quality on their side.
It's a piece of play the ball, right? He shouted and did some abuse to me towards waved his hand, and when he got him, he ran to rave to me again.
When will they learn?
For 10 minutes, Robbie, okay?
He's penalised
three
for
times.
it.
That's three good,
There was no
Robbie.
doubt about it that he was interfering. He wouldn't let
Yes,
Newlove have to play the football. Then when he gets penalised, he gives him a mouthful. That's just ludicrous. What's the point of training it so hard all week when you go down to 12 men?
Scott Naylor is in the sin bin. The Bradford Bulls are down to 12 for 10 minutes. Wellens pops it back to Sonny Nicol, another former Bradford Bull. This is his second spell at Knowsley Road, Sonny Nicol. He was a Bull from 95 to 98. Wellens, dummy half. Cunningham, Sculthorpe. Short side again, Joint. Such a tough man to pull down, the St Helens captain.
Great tackle again by Peacock.
Joint wearily to his feet. Cunningham! This time, Bradford are aware of the danger of the Welsh international. Saints underneath the sticks with Furley. It comes wide to Shields. Shields thought about the offload and got it in the end to Nicol. Nicol to drive in and over. Oh, this match is bubbling up. We thought it would be an epic. We tipped it to be last night when Brian Noble was our guest, and once again the Super League players refused to let us down. Nicol's try, kick to come to level it at 10-all.
Super League and Super try. Shields did ever so well here. Talk about second effort. As soon as he brought in the front forward, Brian McDermott, and offloaded it. That is poor defence. They stood off this big fella, and once he offloads, they think it's all over and done with. Nicol doesn't. Withers no chance. Nicol says, give me the 4. Don't worry. Robert Connolly has already done that. Sheer strength there. Sonny Nicol, vital try. No doubt about it. You're right, Eddie. This is going to be a classic.
What a servant Sonny Nicol has been to this club in 2 spells. Sculthorpe adds the extras. It's level pegging at Knowsley Road. 10 points all. Don't know what you're doing this Saturday night. Sit tight. This is going to be a roller coaster ride.
It sure is, and with tries like this, forget about putting the tie on and going out. This is superb stuff. Second effort, upper body strength. That's the reason why Nicol got over. Watch him just push with the legs when he makes the contact. Bang! Here I go. Superb effort.
Another shallow kick-off from the Bradford Bulls. Oh, now then, that could be offside and is.
And that's the reason why Bradford go and elect for that short kick. They do it a lot.
Well, that wind is hanging and making the ball hang straight into their faces.
No doubt that it was Iro and Sculthorpe up there. I think with Sculthorpe it came off.
They're going for 2 points, Bradford.
Well, that does surprise me. He's a fair way out, and this is the kick-off. Look how they run up for it. Yeah, definitely came off Sculthorpe.
Remember, Steve-O, the Bulls are down to 12 men. They do have Mr. Naylor in the bin. This will eat the clock up.
But it's against a very, very strong wind.
And this is a fella who normally is like lightning when he takes the kicks, but he will measure this. And that's the reason why they've taken this kick, to eat the clock up. And Henry's doing exactly that. Well, now time is called off.
It's getting towards a gale force wind right into the face of Henry Paul. Let's hope he can, he'll be thinking he's got enough power to make sure it goes, even if it misses, it'll go dead in goal.
Henry Paul strikes it well, misses, and it does go dead in goal. 10-all it stays, but a priceless minute wasted there, I think, of Scott Naylor's term in the bin.
I think it'd be a little bit more comfortable having the football way downfield and receiving it back here.
Robbie Paul to
you could see the strength of that wind there, Eddie. And Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, he will have noticed that, don't worry.
Yes, St Helens will be playing into the face of that in the second half. Fielden on, McDermott and Vangener off. Anderson and Fielden have come on.
I think Brian Noble also maybe ruined the fact that he hasn't got Deacon on the bench. Now, Deacon is one of the best short game and long kicking games that you see in Super League, and he's not there.
Well, McDermott and Vangener have had the first 20 minutes, and Anderson and Fielden get the second 20 minutes. That's the pattern of it for Brian Noble, and that's good defence from St Helens. Here's Henry Paul again. There's the chip over the top. Slice looking to expose Sullivan, but he did well then. It's a difficult bouncing ball in the wind. Anthony Stewart from dummy half.
Oh, that's great defence. There's going to be some battered bodies out there after 80.
Sullivan.
And it's going to be important that both coaches, how they use those substitutes. The energy will be sapping out of the players' bodies. So fitness could tell right at the end.
Fairley plays the ball to Cunningham. Here is Sculthorpe. He's gone for the 40-20. Withers was waiting for it. Now will skip away and run dead. Naylor still with almost 4 minutes in the bin. Prowling the touchline, waiting to come back.
It'll be slow to restart this as well. The tap on the 20.
Well, they're normally so quick, aren't they? But these are professional tactics. Oh, James Lowe.
Want to be careful.
And Bob Connolly, the big roar in the background because the referee took a tumble. Fielden.
He only got a 6.5 vote, though. Wasn't the prettiest fall.
Whoops, that was right in front of Henry Paul. He did well to hang on to that.
Not the best pass from James Lowe.
That's better for Robbie Paul to run onto. Now it's with Mike Forshaw. Good tackling.
You can see how the defence, both Sculthorpe and Newlove, they knew that he was going to be coming for the second marker.
Anderson.
Here comes a battering ram.
Fairley stood his ground as he had to. Lowe's. Robbie Paul misses out brother and finds Fielden. Another little dab through. That's difficult to take. Hoppy did well. Hoppy did very well.
And again, you see this new type of kick that Bradford are utilising. And what they do is they kick it at the end of the ball so that it's spinning when it comes off the toe. And it can bounce anywhere, as we've seen already.
Here come the Saints in response. This is Peter Shields. A little run from Wellens that relieved the pressure on St Helens. And here now is Newlove, and he gets the ball away to Sullivan. Sullivan cuts in field, he's got support from Stewart. They keep the ball alive brilliantly to Sculpthorpe.
Great play, spinning in the tackle, looking for the support.
Shields, wide it goes to Cunningham. Cunningham up the middle. They nearly missed him. Gartner with a very important grab at the ankle. Here's Yonkers. Yonkers backing himself, dumps it to Joint. Joint out the back door to Iro. Iro dabs it through, and Anderson has it back for the Bradford Bulls.
Not the best option there from the centre, Iro. But great work by St Helens.
Naylor's up and down the touchline, getting ready to come back. Offside now, St Helens.
And they'll take the time in taking this penalty too. In fact, with such a strong wind right in the middle, it wouldn't surprise me if they just tap it. But Henry's coming up. Yeah, he's just tapped it. That's the right thing to do.
Henry Paul to Lee Gilmore. He comes in field and there's an ambush waiting for him. Eventually they get him to ground. Furley and Nickel. Jimmy Lowes is the dummy half, 40 metres away from his own line.
Ooh, that
was forward. And the touch judge shakes his head. That was a mile forward.
I wouldn't say a mile, but I think you got it right, Eduardo.
Here's Fielder.
Great strength. And you can see that Anderson was about half a metre.
Now then, Forshaw. Henry Paul. Good defence. Peter Shields. Robbie Paul scampers away from dummy half. Finds Gartner. Gartner loses it. Under pressure from two, Gartner couldn't hang on.
And they are pressure mistakes, but did Joint get a fingertip to it? I think he did. Not seen by the officials. It's warming up out there. There's some big hits.
Naylor's back. Bradford back up to strength. They're going to make a change here, St Helens. Nickel comes off and Edmondson comes on as Wellens takes it up the middle. But not too far. Gartner and Fielder are there. Here's Cunningham. Fairly wide to Sculpthorpe. Big hit on Newlove. First tackle from Naylor since he's come out of the bin.
Newlove's hurt, he's down on his haunches. It was a big hit from Naylor. His first one, as Eddie said, since come off the sin bin.
Now we'll see Bradford, I think, up the tempo. And Sculpthorpe is hurt.
It's a knock-on. It was a big hit. And he'll be off to the blood bin. Oh, is that a trip?
Trip from Henry Paul. A trip.
Oh, he's very fortunate. Oh, he definitely lunges. Well, he's a lucky boy.
Nobody appealed on the St Helens side, though, did they? Not even the crowd. Edmondson is into the action. Well, 26.5 minutes gone. Nothing to choose between these two great sides. Phil, what a match.
Certainly from the start it went the way of a basketball game, didn't it? The teams alternating in their scoring, and I'm sure that Ian Millward will just be hoping that St Helens don't allow Bradford now to score again, although the signs aren't that good because the defence hasn't been the best this year. They've conceded almost twice as many tries as Bradford. And Brian Noble, well, he just hopes, I think, that he can outpower these guys, and there's so many tries left in this game.
Oh yes, there's tries everywhere. Ian Millward knows that, and so does Brian Noble, I am sure. Robbie Paul stabbed it through. Fielden wasn't offside. Play on. Controversy there. Gilmore dabs it through. Hoppy picks up again. And Lowes fells Sean Hoppy.
Great play again by Bradford, but Hoppy put his body on the line. He had to as well.
It's getting tasty.
Well, that's the 5th time that Bradford have utilised that spinning kick.
Well, this is an absolute corker, and what about this next weekend? Leeds Wigan, Friday at 8 on Sky Sports 1, and Castleford Hull next Saturday on Sky Sports 2. Two fantastic matches. Don't miss either of them.
Good work from Stewart there. Very strong in the upper body department.
Jointed well then, he found Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe, well, he bounced off Anderson, and then he realised that Fielden was there. Last one here for Saints. There's the kick from Wellens. It'll turn Withers around, but that will skip away and skip dead. This wind is a bit of a problem, isn't it, with it at their backs?
Well, they should be utilising it and trying to go for the 40-20. They've only attempted it once in 28 minutes. But this defence from both sides, okay, it has been cut apart on 4 occasions, but it really was through great skill.
This is Mike Forshaw, does well. Good hands, but straight to Hoppy from Robbie Paul.
Well, he was poaching, wasn't he? He was hanging around. You could have said that he could have changed jumpers there.
Brave little run from Tim Yonkers, cut down by Peacock. Here come the artillery again for St Helens. Fairley at the back door to Cunningham. Yonkers, they're trying to run Bradford off their feet. Sculthorpe, Sculthorpe, magnificent try! Magnificent Sculthorpe try! 2 dummies, and the entire defence went the wrong way. His 100th St Helens appearance, and I doubt whether he scored a better try than that.
Come on with the mistakes, and then you take the full advantage, and Sculthorpe has done that. Ian Millwood, the Saints coach, said, OK, we'll miss along, but Sculthorpe will stand in. Look at the dummy here. Well, Sean Long, Tommy Martin would have been proud of that. He's playing at the top of his form. This is the mistake. Hoppy was standing in the line, the Bradford line, that is, and they take full advantage. Once again, the ability to keep this ball alive has caught the Bulls out wide. Superb play by a superb player.
Yes, Paul Sculthorpe, a try in each of his last 4 games now for the Saints. This is his 100th appearance in the white jersey of St Helens. Huddersfield, 2 tries, 5 goals last week for 18 points. Standoff in the 1999 Grand Final, now goal kicker as well. He's added the extras. And St Helens, they trailed early, they lead late.
Look at the gap they've left. Henry Paul, no man's land. There's 2 to choose from, and Sculthorpe stepped. You can see how Henry Paul thought that Stewart was going to come on the outside. That's what made the dummy so effective. What a great try from a wonderful, wonderful player.
Yes, he has come alive at St Helens in the last couple of years. He's, of course, a former Warrington man. And wouldn't Warrington have a team with Sculthorpe and Harris in the side these days? Mind you, Warrington have got a team. They beat Wigan last night. Let's forget about that. This is Saints and Bradford.
Again, a wonderful kick-off from Bradford. They know they need possession. They've got to get back on that board quickly.
And Forshaw nearly dropped the pass, but he held on somehow. James Lowes is the dummy half. It's with Peacock. Peacock driving it in. This is a test now of the St Helens defence again. Lowes, Robbie Paul. Oh, Hoppy did brilliantly. Fingertipped it back to Iro. And they'll counter. St Helens will counter with the big fella. Now Sculthorpe. On it goes to Newler. Inside again. It's fantastic, this. Stewart's away! Stewart's away! What a try! What a try! What a sensational try from the world champion! Oh, that was worth the admission money alone! Anthony Stewart, Saints from one end of the field to the other. Sensational!
Put it down to Sean Hoppy. Tipped it back to Iro, and they just stopped. They keep doing it, this St Helens mob. They love nothing better than to attack from deep inside their own half. Remember the fantastic try that Joyce scored with barely seconds to go. This is just as good. The crowd are loving it. So are we. Stewart in for a the season. Combination. Sensational play from the world champions. Stewart. Power, the step, the finish, and surely the smile. Yes!
Breathtaking. That's the only word you can use. And look at his record since he's come into this side. This is his 7th in a row at fullback. Non-playing sub in the Challenge Cup final. Anthony Stewart. Poor Sculthorpe adds the extras. 22 points to 10. We have got a classic unfolding here.
Well, Sean Hoppy, he intercepted that brought about the Sculthorpe try. In his wildest dreams, he wouldn't have thought that he was going to create a try for Stewart. But it's the manner in which he does it. Stewart spins around. It was poor defence, clutching at straws. He's got the speed. They think the world of this kid up here. And why not? He's mobbed by his colleagues.
Another shallow kick-off. Price palms it back. Gilmore gets to it. Sculthorpe's after Gilmore, but he got the ball away to Withers. Now Bradford's turn to try and counter. Wide it goes to Naylor from Henry Paul. Good defence from Saints. He's in touch.
Fantastic stuff.
What did Ian Millwood say this week? When we are up against it, we rise to the challenge, and Saints are doing that here with a vengeance.
Wonderful example of a sliding defence. As the ball was being shipped out to the right by the Bulls, the St. Helens contingent just slid across to their left and finished up with the football. Breathtaking, Eddie. That's the only word I can think of at the moment.
Well, this is the best first half we have seen in a match that is going to be, I think, one of the best we will ever see. And we've seen some classics between these two over the years. Phil, how about that try from Anthony Stewart?
I watched the Brisbane Broncos play this morning and was impressed by the pace and skill of their backline, but that was nothing to compare with that try. Probably the best try I've seen in 5 years, and just their attitude to counter-attack from anywhere on the field really makes them a fantastic side to watch, and obviously a dangerous side to play against. Bradford now really up against it.
Yes, they are. They trail by 12 points. And when St. Helens are in this sort of mood, who dare back against them? Leon Price. Leon Price, great run.
Well, maybe the message is getting through the brains of these Bradford players that they can't just out-muscle this St. Helens outfit, because they've been equal to the task. They've got to now start thinking differently, more attack, keep the ball alive, try to copy what St. Helens are doing, and that's spinning in the tackle and give good support.
Fielden cannot get through Yonkers and Nicol.
And talking of support, this crowd here, they are going bananas here, that they just want to just push their side further and further.
Lovely stab through from Henry Paul to Robbie, but Wellens was waiting and the trap was sprung. Last tackle for the Bulls. Henry Paul. It's a kick into the air and it's hanging all over the place. Shields dropped it and got to it. That's interesting. The referee says play on. That looked all the world for a knock on. Here goes Sullivan, they're off again.
Well, Shields, that looked a knock on. Got away with it though.
Here's Edmondson.
They're falling off the tackles now. They've just been absolutely taken to the sword as the ball.
Cunningham to Yonkers. Back to Cunningham. Price managed to get him down. 3 minutes to half time. Wellens.
Big hit.
Last one here for Saints. Iro, Cunningham. Sculthorpe stabs the ball towards the corner. There's Vicona. Oh, Newlock was a bit high.
On the shoulders. He's going to get him.
Waiting for the advantage.
Referee's got him for the
Oh, come off the shoulder right there.
The slap. It was round the neck.
Well, they wanted to see if there's any advantage gained, whether Vicona could have got into the clear, and he couldn't. And they're a very relieved outfit, the Bulls, at the moment, that they've got that penalty. The last 10 minutes The quality of rugby league football that this St Helens side has produced has just been outstanding.
Referee shouts held, and Bob Connolly will have to be hoarse to get himself heard over this crowd before the end of the match. So will we if it continues like this. 2 minutes to the interval. Robbie Paul. Gilmore drops it. And St Helens 19 offloads, 12 breaks. Bradford just 5 and 3, and the error count is mounting for the Bulls as well.
So important. I mentioned the fact that they were spinning in the tackle and getting the ball away. Took his eye off the football. You could see Sean Hoppy just appearing out of the corner of his eye. The result, a knock on. They're not done yet. Saints, don't worry.
And when Wigan were in their pomp, remember, they used to hit sides in the last minute before half-time. Those missed tackles are mounting for Bradford. Now, can St Helens drive this advantage home?
Will they drive to the middle? No, they've gone the blind side. I thought they might be thinking about setting up for a one-pointer.
They'll come back this way now with Sculthorpe. On it goes to Shields.
Anyone setting up for it? Doesn't appear to be.
No, they're going left and they find Sculthorpe. It's with Stewart! They're in again! Chris Joint behind the post. Second try for Joint. They have done to Bradford what Wigan in the 90s did to so many teams. They put them on the bell.
Beautiful pass. The defence was all shot there. They were queuing up on that blind side. Sculthorpe, he's controlling things out there. Stewart back on the inside. Joint as ever. Captain Courageous, always in support, always up there, always wants the football. And the reward is 4 points. And what a vital 4 points they're going to be. Surely it'll turn into 6. They are just blitzed. Sean Long, he must be sad in many ways, but he'll be happy with the scoreline.
And they've just seen him in the screen. They've just seen him in the screen, and they love him here at Knowsley Road. He's the missing man, but boy, St Helens are not missing him tonight. Sculthorpe adds the extras. Sculthorpe with another goal. St Helens are ahead at the half-time siren by 28 points to 10. And it has been a treat to be here and watch this match unfold. Absolutely scintillating football. It started with Bradford in the 3rd minute. They led 4-0. Then Saints got going, and boy did they get going. 5 tries, and they've hit them with a sucker punch right on the bell. 28 points to 10. The World Club champions are not world champions for nothing.
Australia. Coverage sponsored by Zurich starts Friday at 11 live on Sky Sports 1. Bacardi Breezer, now available in Cranberry.
No, I don't think I have a window for you today. I got a Feng Shui consultant coming. Oh, that's him now. Gotta go.
Call me Zane. Let us begin. It's done.
First vertical drop roller coaster.
Oh, Thank goodness you come.
It's ants, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, they're getting in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll boil them out the old-fashioned way.
I've got my wits end there everywhere.
Yeah, they are persistent, aren't they? Yeah.
I haven't slept in 2 weeks.
Really?
I'm on the loo and they're there, they're looking at me.
Oh, dear.
They're in my knicker drawer.
Yeah,
they're in my...
just got to get something from the van.
Yeah, thanks. You just get rid of them, please.
Still, you got to love him, the ant. Apparently, if he was our size, he could lift a speedboat.
Pot noodle?
Amazing.
It's all me.
Hey, you.
Tomorrow, find out for yourself if Observer Sport Monthly delivers something that sports coverage has long needed. Exclusive Darren Gough interview in The Observer tomorrow.
Why are these people coming back to BT?
Talk together. It's a new service. It's a good reason why we should go back to BT.
Now I don't worry about the money I'm spending on the phone.
I've rung BT up and they've done exactly what I needed.
This new package now has just dramatically cut my bill hugely.
And it's free at the weekends also, which is fantastic.
I'd say value for money and good service.
If they give us any better deal, they end up sending me money.
Reconnect to BT for free. Call 0800 800 810.
Lance Barton is coming back to Earth.
I got hit by a truck. Now you want to take my soul? What are you, the Blair Witch?
Chris Rock.
If your head is bloody, we're your buddy.
Down to Earth.
For people who are demanding. Extremely. The new Wilkinson Sword Extreme 3. Triple blade performance. Pivoting head. And after a bunch of great shaves, you just serve up another. The new Extreme 3 from Wilkinson Sword.
Did you sit there with one of those, like, domes on your head? Yeah. Paul's most embarrassing moment of his life, I'd say, was about 7 or 8 years ago when he decided to go to the hairdressers and get himself a nice, tight, wet perm.
I did, and cheers, Giggsy. It was all because of you, mate. You're my idol.
You look like Giggsy, you look like my old granny.
Wicked. I did have a perm. Your mum loves that story.
Just a reminder that we have the Origin game for you coming up live and exclusive from Headingley. It's next Tuesday night at 7:30 on Sky Sports 1. The top players from the Super League will be taking part in what in effect is a Great Britain trial. It's Yorkshire against Lancashire, 7:30, Sky Sports 1 next Tuesday night. And they have something to live up to after the first half we have seen here. 28 points to 10. St Helens lead the Bradford Bulls, 5 tries to 2. The missed tackles for Bradford alarming for Brian Noble. 5-4 the handling errors. St Helens have made 4, but the runs from dummy half, the offloads and the breaks, that is where St Helens have cut them to ribbons. There's the top tacklers. 2 breaks from Anthony Stewart and Kieran Cunningham. Well, from the very first minute, he has been having a field day. Well, Ian Millwood, the St Helens coach, I don't know what he's got in there. Maybe he's got a magic wand, but they certainly do something or other to St Helens, even in adversity, and losing players like Tommy Martin and Sean Long doesn't seem to matter to this team of world champions. And the Bradford dressing room, well, they must just feel a little shell-shocked. They opened so brightly, 4-0 up, and then it all went wrong. It went just a little bit pear-shaped for the Bulls. But you know, on nights like this, Steve-O and I have got the greatest job in the world, because it has been an absolute privilege to be commentating on a match of such quality, with the tries running in at either side of the field. But St Helens this evening, Steve-O, they have been absolutely remarkable. It's the only word I can use.
They are a fantastic side. Being a northerner, I'll have nothing better than value for money, and boy oh boy, we're getting a lot of that value today. Unbelievable. Bradford started. They came here to absolutely pulverise a Saints side that had been riddled with injuries. But it was Bradford that did get the first try, and it was a smart move on the blind. It was a mistake from Joint, and it was Lowe's that picked out the blind side. It was very poor marking Sullivan was caught out. Vicona scores a try. But this side will just never give in. Sculthorpe is controlling things outside there. They just pull them in, joint, throws the dummy, all the strength. And yet, Bradford decided that they've got it yet again. This was good work. Running onto the football, Gilmore is in absolutely superb form. It looked perhaps they'd take control. But this side, they are just remarkable. Instead of trying to have an arm wrestle with them, they are keeping the ball alive. And on this occasion, Shields yet again. Nickel, look at the strength here. Good work from Shields. And then, well, Sculthorpe, he throws the dummy, again the offload. 20 offloads in the first half, says it all. Bradford, they've missed 22 tackles. That was 2 of them just there as Sculthorpe went through. But this one, Sean Hoppy, thank you very much, Mr. Iro. Well, instead of just hanging around here, let's give the crowd what they deserve. And boy, oh boy, this is out of the top drawer. Stewart spinning away. Second gear, third gear, he's in overdrive. Look at the fans there going berserk. Do they want to just finish before half-time, shut up shop? No, not this moment. Chris jointing for his second try, and quite frankly, a Bradford Bulls side went into the dressing room absolutely shot to pieces. I don't know what Brian Noble can do.
Well, that's what he's paid for, Brian Noble, and I wonder whether the wind that will be at the Bradford Bulls' backs in the second half will form any part of his half-time talk. Phil, you're down on the touchline where it is very windy. I think the wind could have a big say.
It could play a part, but he needs more than the wind. There's no real secret, but the fact is they've got to stop St Helens when in possession. They've got to clamp the ball and prevent them from offloading, and I'm sure Ian Millward in his dreams the night before a game couldn't visualise his players playing so well. They are fantastic to watch, as you've both pointed out, and really when they are like that, there's no team in the world of rugby league can prevent them from scoring. They just attack, it's so instinctive to them. Anywhere in the field, they look to support and they offload, and when doing that, boy, they're very hard to play against.
Phil, they look a little bit stunned in their defensive lineup. Okay, for the first 10-15 minutes, they looked okay, but they've missed 22 tackles. They can't win that way.
They're missing the tackles also because of the offloads. They're doing more than 6 tackles in a set. It can be 7, 8, 9 or even 10 by the time that St Helens have offloaded. That's made them work extra time. And also look at the good footwork of a lot of the St Helens forwards. I think they've worked very hard to make themselves more evasive and that a bit harder to stop or even get down and clamp in the tackle, and hence the reason why they are just on a roll at the moment. Bradford, I'm sure Brian Noble will be hoping that it turns around. The half-time's come at a good time for him and he needs really to score first, but Eddie was talking about Wigan's ability at their pomp really to kill off an opposition. Can St Helens do that now? Can they come out, score in the first 5 or 10 minutes of this second half and kill the game as a contest and see off Bradford, or will they offer them an opportunity to get back into the game?
Plenty of questions to be answered, and Phil, just one further question for you down there. You are surrounded, of course, by St Helens supporters. We can see them behind you. You are a Wiganer. Have they laid the red carpet out for you? How are they treating you?
Well, they've got a big chain. I think they don't know whether they want me to be the mayor or whether they're going to put it around my neck and do something else with it.
We've got a tip or two maybe for them, but Phil Clark on touchline, thanks very much indeed. Now then, you have seen some magnificent personal performances here tonight. Is there one good enough to take home the watch? I think there is, you know. That's the watch that goes home with the man of the match, who wins the man of the match award, who gets the nod from Steve O'Hare and from Phil Clark on the touchline. So you also can have a little say. You can try and agree with their choice, and if you do agree and ring in on those two numbers, UK 09009 1010 13, Irish viewers 1550 92 35 56, you could be off to the grand final on Saturday, October the 13th at Old Trafford. An autumn night, but boy, will that be an occasion. And it could be these two again. It could be Saints Bradford, it could be Wigan Bradford, it could be Leeds, it could be Hull, it could be London. Hey, it could be anyone this year. It's that sort of season that's unfolding. And if you want to email us with any comments, rugbyleague@skysports.com, news on the game, www.skysports.com, if you have access to the internet. It's bright, it's breezy here at Knowsley Road, but at the home of the world champions, and it is a world-class performance that we've seen in the opening 40 minutes.
Statistics show that a cat's immune system declines by age 7. Statistics show that by age 8, it could be just half the strength of a 2-year-old cat. Forget statistics, because now there's IAMS. IAMS Senior is proven to take the immune system of an 8-year-old to the level of a much younger adult cat. Welcome to a new world of health. IAMS.
Giorgio Armani.
Mark, they want to come round tonight.
We need to sort this place out.
And quickly.
No problem. B&Q's got hundreds of plants and pots in all shapes and sizes. You can brighten up the fencing and protect it at the same time. Low voltage lighting.
Mark, you could have changed.
Instant transformation at low B&Q prices. You and B&Q.
Have you been watching the new series of Nigella Bites on TV? A fabulous new partwork free with tomorrow's Mail on Sunday You magazine will show you how to make Nigella's favourite recipes in your own home. And there's up to £5 off the perfect wines to go with them.
Just try to resist.
Nigella Bites, starting tomorrow, only in the Mail on Sunday.
Over the coming days, the nation will decide. McDonald's new Cadbury's Caramel McFlurry or McDonald's new Bounty McFlurry.
With delicious Cadbury's chocolate and caramel sauce swirled into thick dairy ice cream, new Cadbury's Caramel McFlurry really is the only sensible choice for this country.
Yes, and at just 99p, it puts a penny in your pocket for every pound you spend.
Elect new Cadbury's Caramel McFlurry today at your local McDonald's.
Is that the full leather interior?
Yeah.
Good options package?
I'm sorry?
You know, tints, heated seats, sat nav.
I guess so.
6 or 12 CD multi-changer?
I haven't counted.
What is it? 1.8?
No, it's 2 litre.
Reinforced aluminium VTEC with variable valve timing and lift.
It's an incredibly efficient, normally aspirated engine.
Well, they've got those hooks for hanging your jacket in the back. Has he got those hooks for hanging your jacket?
Crunchy biscuits, chewy caramel, creamy chocolate, crunchy, chewy, creamy. It's all in the mix. Crunchy biscuits, crunchy, chewy,
By the way, IAMS gives your cat complete and balanced nutrition in every stage of her life for a long, active time together. IAMS, welcome to a new world of health.
Sky One is about to bring you more tales of epic proportions.
Everyone leave. I have to poop.
T-shirty Sky! Now!
More drama.
She's dead.
Well, one of us is going to have to change.
More suspense.
Guess who?
Stop it, Chris.
Wrong!
It can only mean more brand new episodes of Family Guy.
What's Family Guy? Oh, keep playing, you guys. I think this is as good as it's going to get.
Starts Monday at 6:30.
Oh, wait. Did you say Chris?
Well, there's a great lineup of live international rugby union coming up for you over the next couple of months on Sky Sports, including the first test, England and Canada. That's tonight from 9:30 Sky Sports Extra. Next Friday we kick off the Lions Tour of Australia. 9 matches coming up for you, all 3 tests, live and interactive for Sky Digital viewers. Jason Robinson, of course, down under with the Lions. And our live coverage begins next Friday morning from 11 as they take on Western Australia. This is the fabulous game that Jason left behind. And what a fabulous match this is here at Knowsley Road. 28-10, the world champions over the current league leaders. Well, they will be chilly, those young ladies, because it's a cold night for the start of the month of June. But nobody will be thinking about the cold here, because the action on the pitch, Steve-O, has been red hot.
And more to come, I am sure. Well, I hope we will be served up another 40 minutes. That was just absolutely fantastic. And the way that St Helens took the game away from Bradford in that first 40 was, well, just something to behold.
Deep kick-off from Paul Sculthorpe. No short kick-off for St Helens then. Oh, nearly. But Vicona had just stuck to his fingertips. We are back. We are underway. The second half. Mind games in the dressing room, I'm sure, from the 2 coaches. Bill, what was said?
Well, the word is that it was a very calm Bradford Bulls dressing room. Brian Noble, you'd have thought, would have been peeling the paint off the dressing room walls in there at half-time. Not so, according to his backroom team. He was very calm about it all. Knows it's a big 40 minutes for his side and a big start to this second half for this side. They're going to try and make use of this win. They know it's going to be a big factor that they can use to their advantage, and they are aware that they've got to stop these St Helens offloads. In the words of Carl Harrison, the Bulls assistant coach, that killed them during the first half. But they've got to improve their kicking game, and they won't be pleased with that first effort either. And the St Helens, for their matter, well, Ian Millwood delighted with that first 40 minutes, but knows that with the wind against them, they really are going to have to maybe change their tactics. They can't afford to be quite as ambitious as they were at times in that first half. They're anticipating that the Bulls will use the wind to their advantage, and they've got to be on their guard defensively in this second half.
Yes, watch out for the 40-20s from Henry Paul and Robbie Paul. Could be a crucial tactic from Bradford in this second 40. Edmondson to his feet.
But that was a first poor kick, and it will have not pleased the coach, Brian Noble.
Here comes Saints on the last. Shields dabs the ball down the line. That will run dead.
And they'll be quite happy with that. It'll be no frills from the Saints. And you're leading 28 points to 10.
Well, you believe, don't you, that many clubs decide to kick it dead to get this defensive line set.
And as I say, if you've got such a commanding lead, why not? They were awesome in defence, apart from just 2 lapses in that first half. Must have been of some concern, though, to Brian Noble at the half-time, was the 22 missed tackles.
Anderson, he's a difficult customer to put to the ground, but he's down there and he plays the ball to Lowe's, and here is the kick from Henry, but that's far too deep. Well, that's way into the crowd. 2 kicks from Henry and 0 out of 10, I'm afraid.
Not the best, and it just eats away at your confidence when you come up with a shocker like that. I made the point that, of course, no Deacon on the bench. And he could pay a price there, Brian Noble, by not selecting him.
Yes, it's a mirror, though, of the strength that Bradford have at their disposal. When there's no place for Paul Deacon and no place for Lee Radford, they're not injured, they're simply omitted.
Yeah, but if one of your kickers, like Henry Paul, is not on song, there's no one else out there that he can turn to.
Here come the Saints again. They're in possession with Paul Sculthorpe right on the halfway line. Opening exchanges of this match in the second half, and Saints looking to really drive home their advantage, but Bradford need to score early. It's with Sculthorpe, and he dabs the kick over the top again. This is one for Vicona to collect, but it's difficult. It bounced right in front of him. He played at it, so they're all onside. Shields gets the pass away to Withers. Withers is trapped by Edmondson, but he still manages to get away. Good run from Withers, this.
Great work. Still going. Robert Connolly now called hell. They really have got to step up a few gears. Never mind just one, the Bulls. They've got to try to get a try early.
Well, Anderson's the man to step up the gear. Just drove that straight at Cunningham. Henry Paul, Jamie Peacock, He drives it into the chest of Sonny Nicol.
But that's still one-out football. Obviously, Brian feels that they can out-muscle them in this 40 minutes, but they've got to have a little bit more finesse and class.
Gilmore was missed by Joint, but he was got by the next two, one of them Edmondson. This is the last for Bradford now, and there's another kick from Henry Paul. This time it's more measured. Sullivan's underneath it, he does well. He gets away from Vicona. Ooh, and it was a good job that Naylor got a hand to him, just delayed it, and in came Lowe's for the kill. In came Peacock, rather, for the kill.
Sure was. Naylor just got to the handbrake because Sullivan, he was away. Great take.
Here's Edmondson. St Helens would be delighted to see that clock just winding its way down towards the end of the 80 minutes, but from a neutral's point of view, well, this could go on till midnight. It is a treat to be here. Cunningham.
Well, the guy who's just passed the ball there, he will control things at dummy half. He's been around long enough to understand what is needed.
Oh, here he goes again.
Completely outplayed his opposite, but James Lowe's.
I think he misread the count then. He's caught in possession on the last. Here now is Fielden. Fielden, those legs pumping away.
Get on with it, try to play the ball quickly.
And there's a penalty for Bradford, messing around, runs from dummy half. St Helens 15-3 ahead, and put that down to one Kieran Cunningham. Anderson.
He's certainly done the majority of those, but again, we see it's an arm wrestle. There is the man in question, Kieran Cunningham. He'll control it.
Oh, big hit from Cunningham then on Gardner.
Well, it's still brute force, and when you've got the two Pauls out there.
Here's one of them, Robbie, gobbled up by Nicol.
Well, Bradford looked reluctant to follow the man with the football.
Fielden to drive it in towards the line. They're inching closer, though, are the Bulls. 2 tackles remaining, this set of 6. And there's a chance here for Anderson. Is he over? No, he's held up just short.
Neat little pass from Lowe's there.
Lowe's again. Lowe's looking to go on his own and surrounded by white jerseys. That's the turnover.
Great defence there. Superb stuff. Silly play. And again, why they can't keep their mouth shut is unbelievable. They're a class act at Bradford, and they just give it all away.
Here's Stewart again.
What a game he's
down by Henry Paul. Newlove to Shields. Here's Edmondson. Edmondson trying to skirt round field, and they got to him. Brian Noble's going through agonies in the stand. Sculthorpe, Shields. Henry Paul got to him as soon as he received that ball.
It's one of the few times that Shields haven't offloaded. He was superb in the first half.
Here's Newlove again. He gets Saints to within 10 of the line. 2 tackles now left for them. Stewart, Sculthorpe, almost through. Robbie Paul was there, so too James Lowe's. They're 5 metres away. It's with Shields, it's with Newlove. Newlove out the back door to Vicona. Vicona's away.
It's a race.
He brushed away from Welland. Sullivan's after him. Great run from the Tondon winger. Sullivan, though, forced him inside.
Great scrambling defence from Saints as well. They really did rush and force the winger away.
Well, it's incredible. This match, you take your eye off it at your peril because it's from one end to the other. And it's now Bradford's turn to examine that defence with Robbie Paul. Gardner. Saints having to defend their lead again. Knock on.
Just a little one. Gardner knows it too. Look at this. Look how Sullivan will make sure he doesn't go for him. He makes sure he keeps him on the outside so that Vicona has to go across the park, thus giving his defenders a chance to come in and swamp him, and that is what occurred.
A lot of people, Steve-O, question Anthony Sullivan's defence, but that was very smart play.
Well, if he'd have committed himself and tried to tackle him, he perhaps may have just missed him. So he did the right thing. The experience showing there.
Graham Mackay's on, Scott Naylor is off.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Brian Noble realising he needs something different out there, something a little special, and it's going to take it, because the tactics have surprised me also in the second stanza is the way that they are still trying to just muscle through rather than keep the ball alive.
Well, Graham Mackay is another man, another big man who will try and beat the St Helens opposition up. Sculthorpe. Good kick downfield. He was looking maybe for a 40-20 against this wind. Withers has it. The St Helens defence has arrived.
I think he was just quite happy to make sure that Withers had to turn around and go for that ball. That'll be the tactic.
Here is Mackay.
Just make sure that they put the ball into an empty space, not straight down the throat, as Bradford did in the opening 5 minutes.
Lowe's to Gilmore.
That's crunch time.
Well, this St Helens side, Steve-O, over the years, traditionally, they've scored tries with aplomb. But boy, over the last 3 years have they learned to defend. And they've got to defend now from Forshaw's run. And they haven't. Forshaw's bounced off them. Out the back door to Robbie Paul. Brilliant. Fantastic try. Robbie Paul under the sticks. Forshaw, the pass out the back was out of the top draw. Robbie Paul with the try, and Bradford get what they wanted.
He put the marker on them, and it was Forshaw's effort. And for once, they did keep the ball alive. Good work from Anderson there. The message has finally got through, and for once, Nicol just fell off the tackle. Beautiful pass, little flick with the right arm. And Robbie Paul, is this the turning point? But at least, you see here, Anderson, it's what St Helens did in the first half. They kept the ball alive, they kept spinning the tackle. Forshaw does that. That's the reason why he made the break. But that is quite an outstanding pass. The ball's on the way.
Henry Paul has kicked the goal. It's 28-16, and Robbie Paul adds to his try-scoring tally. Well, from a British point of view, what a pity that Mike Forshaw has decided to end his international career. Because I know he's 31 years of age. There's the try-scorer, Robbie Paul. But Mike Forshaw is playing at the very top of his game at the moment. Vicona somehow kept that ball in play.
Well, he must do juggling in his spare time, Tavita Vicona. They've kicked it twice. He's juggled with it absolutely superbly.
Anderson, over the top of Cunningham. They're getting on a roll, Bradford. Lovely ball from Lowe's to Peacock. Up the middle goes Peacock.
He was one of the few players on the Bradford side that really came up to scratch in the first 40. He was running more out wide in that first stanza, but he's running down the middle now.
And Bradford have upped the tempo considerably.
Well, they're starting to keep the ball alive. They're getting it in air, and that's what they need.
Forshaw again. Henry Paul, wide to brother Robbie. On the bounce, and it went backwards. So Robbie Paul to examine the defence again. Jinking run. Can't get it away though, can't offload. Nicol and Joint in there.
Bradford need to play the ball a lot quicker as well. They've been extremely slow. And this will be play on.
Oh! So close for Hoppy.
He wants to see whether that was the advantage. I don't think there was a knock on. I think it was a deliberate kick. Yep, it was Price that put the kick in, so this will be play on. Does it hit? No, it doesn't. So this should be a head and feed to Bradford.
And it is, because of that knock on there by Sean Hoppy. But if he'd have picked that up,
he'd have been away.
It would have been a foot race. So pressure on the Saints now.
Well, I hardly think he would have gone on all that way 40 yards on his hat.
Gilmore.
You never know.
You can be pedantic at times, even on a night like this.
I'll have a look in the book.
Lowe's. Fielden. Good strong run from Fielden. St Helens trying to slow this play the ball down. Lowe's, Forshaw, Anderson.
That's much better, quicker play the ball.
Robbie Paul, Henry Paul. Peacock through the first line and over. Yes. Try for Peacock. 2 tries in quick succession for the Bulls. He's not giving it.
He wants to see whether the tackle has been completed. And he wants to also see whether the ball carrying arm maybe touched the deck.
It touched the ground. He's done a double movement, please, will you?
Well, this is a call for the video referee then.
Spins around now then.
Oh.
But it's all one movement. If it's all one movement, then that will be TRY. And this is the reason why he's taking the other angle. If he's spinning, bang, it's all one movement, yeah. They'll probably give this TRY time for mine. It's a crucial call.
It's a huge call. What is it, video ref? Bradford get another try. Interesting, Saints were lining up for a restart. And Jamie Peacock gets his 3rd try of the year, and how valuable might that one be?
It was a delayed pass. They thought he was going to do the runaround, and he just offloaded there. Neat pass from Henry Paul, should I say. And Peacock, who's having a blinder now.
Henry Paul with the conversion, and he's pushed it. Pushed it wrong side of the post.
Oh, that was a simple kick. And he knows it now.
28-20. Bradford still have to score twice.
And that's how important that conversion attempt was to the Bradford Bulls. Jamie Peacock had some outstanding runs. He's up for it this second half. And Ian Millward, he's fully aware that with this strong wind behind the Bulls, anything can happen. And rather surprisingly, Saints not electing to go for a shorter kick. Just keep putting it down to Baikona.
Here it goes again, but Lowe's is in the way this time. Now he is Fielden. Well, have they outmuscled the Saints now? They're back within 8 points. Mackay. Great tackle. Had to be from Fairley. Lowe's. Henry Paul. Gartner. St Helens have got to get the defence set.
It's a real test of character from both sides. Full credit to the Bulls, they've come back.
Oh, they're away again. Robbie Paul's in. Robbie Paul's in. Set up by Forshaw. And the referee goes to the screen again. Ian Millward was pointing for an obstruction. What does the video referee say about it?
Well, Forshaw again.
Well, Gartner was right in the way.
No, I can't see that as being classed as obstruction. He held his hands up. No, I don't think it would be. He was certainly not in the line that he was running. I think they'll go for the TRY again. Nickel was holding on to Gartner to start with as Forshaw got the football, but then releases him. So I think they'll go for TRY.
Robbie Paul thinks he's got his second, and he has. He cannot believe it. The try is given. Robbie Paul with the kick to come, and Bradford will be back to within 2 points.
Well, the stunned silence there, and then of course the boos when the video referee awarded it. But I think that the video referee has got it right again. A few of the Saints players hesitated. They perhaps thought that it should have been a penalty for obstruction. Robbie Paul goes on with it. Second try. This is a reaction from the St Helens coach, Ian Millward. He cannot believe it. A little bit of a nod and say, well, some you win, some you lose. On this occasion, Mr. Noble, you won. It's a gripping thriller, this.
It certainly is. 3 tries in 7 minutes. And Bradford now back to within 2.
And what an effort from Forshaw.
He's having a blinder. and he's having a wonderful season. So, Vicona again picks up. Saints rush forward. At the moment, St Helens are on the back foot, and Bradford are like a heavyweight boxer, and they are slugging it out with them.
St Helens realise they've got to try to force Bradford deep within their own quarter, so that when the kick comes, it won't be all that good.
Oh, here goes Forshaw again. Brilliant pick-up by Robbie Paul. Gilmore drops it. Knock on.
That's what they wanted.
The pressure eases.
The tension, the pressure. It was a great pick-up there from Robbie, and that's the knock-on from Gilmore. That is what Saints were looking for. Applied the pressure. You could see he just took his eyes off the football there. Steve Hall was going towards him. It'll be safety first by Saints now. They want to just slow things down.
Well, Mackay all over the top of Iro, but he was not sure the tackle had been completed. Bradford have lost just twice under Brian Noble in 17 games. And they had a 3-point gap, of course, coming into this weekend at the top of the table. They're not up there for nothing. This is a great fight back. Look at the second half possession. It's swung Bradford's way.
Well, Saints have lost the spark, mainly due to the fact that they've had little football in this second half.
They've got it now. It's with Wellens and Shields. Great defence from Forshaw.
Did well, ball and all. Shields couldn't offload.
Last tackle here for Saints. Sculpford stabs it through. Off the feet of Anderson.
Quick thinking there by the prop forward Anderson. Neat work. He knows how important the possession is.
Here goes Shane Rigon, the instant hero. He got a hat-trick in the opening round against the Saints at Valley Parade. And Saints' missed tackle count is rising.
What a great game.
It's been an epic for an hour. And we have 20 minutes remaining. And the game has still to be won. Here goes Graham Mackay.
Well, we spoke often about how much fuel is going to be left in the tanks of either side. Here's a 40-20.
From Lowe's, but out on the full. Back it goes then to where the kick was taken.
He's not happy, Brian Noble, and he knows it, because Lowe's should not have been the man to be around to go for the 40-20. They took them ages to get themselves organised for it. If you want to win the ball game here, you've got to make sure that you've got people in position.
Suddenly momentum has swung in this second half to the Bulls. They are racing into the tackle now. Amazing what the wind at your backs does. Saints had the wind in the first half. Bradford, well, they've got the spinnaker up in the second.
The mere fact they scored 3 tries would help as well, Eddie.
Wellens almost through. Lowe's over the top of him. Don't count Saints out of it yet. Here's Newlove. Mackay with a good tackle. They're 10 metres away. Stewart, Newlove, Shields, Fairley, Cunningham, Yonkers, Iro, Yonkers again. It's still the last. Poppy, Fairley,
Someone's got a kick.
Shields, Sullivan, knocked forward by Mackay.
They'll get head and feed. He saved the try. But is it just going to prolong the agony? He looks calm. Was he a Millward?
How do you stay calm in all this mayhem?
He saved a certain try, but the big fella knows that they've got to endure more pressure.
Well, that was deja vu for me. Remember the try that they scored in the last seconds of that playoff match here last year?
Oh,
what a try that was. What a night that was. What a match this is.
You can hardly hear yourself think here.
Mackay's mistake, well, would you call it a mistake?
It's not a mistake.
The try.
He saved it. They had the man out wide.
Who's your man of the match? 09, 009, 10, 10, 13, 15, 50, 92, 35, 56 in the Republic of Ireland. Prize 2 grand final tickets. Take your choice of the man of the match. You have to agree with Phil and Steve. Vicona.
Well, he's got to take him off now. He's given him ample time as the merry whistleblower. Robert Connolly says to the medic, he either gets off, all of a sudden he finds the stamina to carry on.
So it's St Helens with Sculthorpe. It's with Iro. Iro just couldn't get the ball away. They know the danger of this fellow. He's a big game player. He comes up with big tries in big matches. And here he is again. He's given it to Yonkers. Oh, he's lost it. No, stolen. Stolen in the tackle. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head to be a referee.
Well, he did the right thing. Robert Connolly quickly ran round to the blind side so that he could have a good look at it. Definitely pulled out.
Yonkers was the man who lost it. And here he is again, Yonkers.
So much strength, the youngster.
Yes, Tim Yonkers, 19 years of age, plays the ball to Cunningham. It goes wide to Shields. Out the back door, he's in touch.
Steve
Hall in touch.
Neat little pass, but there was just no room to move. Oh, that was wonderful rugby league football. And you could see there was never going to be an opportunity for him to dive. Big let off for the Bulls. The tension, it mounts yet again.
Here's Mackay. They get to him. The defence marshals. The attack gets ready. Henry Paul. Robbie Paul. Flicks it back. Fielden.
Well, it's amazing now the changing tactics by the Bulls. They were just going one out. They wanted to muscle their way through, but then they started to offload, spin in the tackle, give it some air, and they've come up with 3 great tries. Only 2 points in it.
Yeah, it's a gripper, this. Really is. Vangana. 4 to bring him down. Lowe's. Peacock. Lowe's again. On the bounce to Robbie. Wide it goes to Fielden. Iro was high.
He's let him off with it.
Look, on the shoulder. Last one. They've thrown it out.
What on earth? Was it touched? They're claiming it was touched. Yes, it was. Well, they're saying that Shields got a fingertip to that.
And the touch judge agrees.
It's on the blind side. This is a big hit. Good job he has his arms up. There was a pretty high shot from Kevin Iro. Ian Millwood not happy. No way, he says.
Well, it's is. And here they come. Mackay. Graham Mackay. Great tackle, Sullivan.
Dolan is back. The sheer weight pulled him down. Mackay just swatting them away.
Mind
like
the
flies.
Mind the teeth.
They wobbled.
Henry Paul. Foreshore. Great tackle, Wellens.
He's lost it.
They've got it back.
Cunningham's come up with the prize.
Wellens, a try saver.
That could be the turning point. Foreshore just couldn't hang on to the football. Great tackle, and then it just pops out the back door for Cunningham.
What a fantastic game. The crowd have been royally entertained, and so have you at home this Saturday night. It is absolutely wonderful.
Well, this would grace a grand final, wouldn't it?
The intensity, the pace, the pressure, fabulous. Cunningham, off the deck to Stewart. He skips away from Peacock, and he's still on his feet, and he's still going.
Wonderful effort. They are giving it 100%, every single player out there.
Last one for St Helens. That's why the kick came in from Sculthorpe. Leon Price now for Bradford. Sculthorpe gets to him, but he manages to offload to Withers. They're being cut open up the middle, the Saints. Nickel with a big hit on Withers.
He felt that too.
Lowe's to Price. Forward to Robbie Paul.
It looked okay.
Not given.
Now they're giving him some air. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay. Forshaw. I'm getting affected by the crowd underneath us here. They scream for forward anytime. Vangana.
They're getting over the advantage line with ease at the moment.
Withers to the corner, but Wellens is there. Wellens gets away from James Lowe's. Space for Wellens for the moment. Great run from the young fullback.
What a great, wonderful effort indeed.
Well, is he fullback or is he scrum half today?
It makes no difference. They're having to go back, do their defensive line, then cart it back upfield. St Helens know that it's going to be a hard slog. They can't utilise the kick like Bradford can. They're into this. They're facing this breeze. That was a big hit.
It was. Cunningham groaned as he hit. Edmondson comes on for nickel. This is Peter Shields.
Well, with so much pressure, it's usually just one missed tackle or a simple mistake that just can get one side over the line.
And will that spin its way over the dead ball line? Yes, it will.
And as you can see, Brian Noble looks pretty calm about it. He's getting animated now, Ian Millward.
Well, this is the time when the nerves jangle with about 12 minutes to go. Look at the tackles, it's evening up, isn't it? The missed tackle count is levelling up and the handling errors are dead level. A game of two halves.
Which side is going to tire quickest?
St Helens will remember bitterly that Bradford came in the closing quarter of the match to win the opening weekend's encounter at Valley Parade. Can they do it again? They're coming strong. Good hands. Another scream of a forward pass. Price hands it on. They're keeping the ball alive now, but Lowe's is all wrapped up.
Good work from Hoppy. Hoppy's working central field now. He's taking up the position of the loose forward.
Henry pulls away from Yonkers. Well, they're still screaming for forward passes, that never was. Ian Milford's with them.
Oh, he's not going to be against them.
Henry Paul, Joe Vangana.
Keeping it alive. This is going to be a tough one. Less than 12 to go.
Vangana again at the middle, Hoppy. The offload though, Rigon. On it goes to Fielden. Fielden off the deck to Robbie Paul. Robbie Paul, he offloads. Shane Rigon again. Another big hit. They're keeping it alive, Bradford. Still going. Henry. Vicona. He's through. He's not. Newland clobbered him.
Did he ever?
Last one. Henry Paul. Crossfield kick for Leon Price.
Albert played the knock on, it came off Bradford. It'll be head and feed, it was on the left, so that's a changeover.
I think it was offside, it's a penalty to Saints.
By the way, it's on the last one. Well, I don't know why, because Robbie Paul never touched it.
I think he said that they were offside wide when the kick came in, I don't know.
By the way, it's relief for the Saints.
And St Helens now in no hurry.
What a test of character. It was a good kick as well from Henry Paul. Spinning and swerving all over the joint.
Iro, it's terrific defence on the big man. Well, 10 to go. 10 minutes remaining of an absolute classic Super League encounter. Paul takes the tackle. Cunningham. Here they come again, St Helens.
And how important was that missed conversion, the easy shot from Henry Paul early in that first half.
Cunningham, Wellens, Sculthorpe, delayed the pass. Newland's got it.
Back to one.
Yes, the tackle count is wiped down. Yonkers! Mackay with the tackle.
Yonkers has put in an absolutely wonderful effort today.
I wouldn't like to be you or Phil Clark to pick the man of the match from this one. We're going to hear from Phil shortly.
Do we have 34?
Shields offloads. Iro. Iro is away. Hall.
Super pass there.
Great pass.
The little flick there from Iro was outstanding yet again. The skill factor of this match has been the highest I've seen for many a year.
Shields to within 4 metres of the line on the last. Is it no? 4. Schofield in! That's what it means to Ian Millward. Schofield in under the post. And just a little look of resignation from Brian Noble. Paul Schofield has been a giant.
They just run out of steam. They couldn't get the one line of defence sorted out. They were all confused. Some went forward, others stayed back, and they paid the price. Sculthorpe, he's been magnificent. He's led by example. He has steered the ship through troubled waters late in this match. And this is what it meant to this man. The man with the Midas touch. 3 trophies. You can see the ring, the gold ring that he picked up for winning the grand final. Proudly placed on his finger. This guy's got one already. He will not be rushing this, that is for sure. What a time to come up with a try.
Brian Noble, he knows his men have got one huge effort ahead in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Sculthorpe with that sand. The referee has held the clock. Sculthorpe's bang in front. What a game this fella's had. It's 32-26. This kick is so important. He's kicked it. It means that Bradford must score twice. 34-26. A classic encounter. 2 fine coaches, 2 brilliant teams, and some wonderful, wonderful entertainment we have had served up tonight.
It sure was, and the tired legs of the fullback Michael Withers just couldn't get into the line quick enough, and it was sufficient enough for Paul Sculthorpe to get on the roll and score the try.
He scored 18 points, the career best against Huddersfield on Monday, and he's come up with 18 points against the league leaders here tonight. Let's go down to Phil Clark on the touchline. Phil, what a game.
Saints certainly didn't win their title of entertainers in Super League for nothing. They treated to us a fantastic match in the second half. You thought when Bradford came back scoring 16 points that it could be their night, but they've just emphasised their superiority by going on with it in the final stages, and I think you've got to pay a lot of credit to Ian Millward, missing several of his key players. He's managed to get his team up for it tonight and performing to a standard of playing against a pretty good Bradford side. I think they should now go on with it as the minutes tick away and get possession at this scrum. Fantastic effort, and I think Tim Yonkers has been outstanding.
Graham Mackay with a little knock on, and if St Helens do hang on to this victory, the top 5 has been opened up like a can opener on a tin of tomatoes over the past 24 hours. Wigan beaten last night. Melida's on the verge of defeat today. Get your calls in for the man of the match. Fairly! As Steve-O says, if only we could give 34 prizes out tonight, they would all take one home. Here goes Iro. Now it's with Edmondson. Offload again, Yonkers. Oh, he wasn't ready for that. It's with Leon Price. That's Iro, come here.
He should have gone. He hesitated. He should have stepped on the gas straight away. It was only a small gap, but you've got to take your chances, and he failed to do that.
Fielden. St Helens are doing a very good job at trying to slow Bradford's play the ball down. This is Peacock. 4.5 minutes to go. It's not over yet. Up.
Back to 6.
No.
Knock on
by
they'll take the head and feed, but he knows that the clock will be ticking away. He read it well there, did Newlove. He's poached many a try over the years. Bradford are desperate. They've got to put on a set move now. Henry Paul is screaming at them.
Robbie Paul to Henry Paul. Here they go. Wide it goes to Gilmore. Gilmore is cut down by a flying tackle from Iro. Price the dummy half. Henry Paul. Robbie Paul. And Rigon. Wide it goes to Forshaw. Back it goes to Gilmore. Gilmore, no way through. Yonkers sees to that.
I don't know how these guys are still standing. They have given it their best shot.
Fielden drives it in. Shield stands firm. Edmondson comes in for the kill. James Lowes, Forshaw. Back it goes to Henry Paul. Henry Paul to Joe Banganer. Banganer runs flat. Dragging them to him. Releasing a pass. Edmondson gets it back for St Helens.
They had to force it. They knew that. They knew they were running out of time. Edmondson, who has played his part, he came off the bench. He certainly has worked hard. Possession is vital. That'll be the message from Ian Millward. Nothing stupid.
Steve-O, if victory it will be tonight for St Helens. What a famous win. With Martin and Long, their engine room, completely dismantled in that department. But Sculthorpe and Wellens, well, all 17 who played for Saints tonight, they've been magnificent.
I have to agree with you, Eddie. It's been one of those games. It's one that I will still cherish for a long time.
Cunningham's away! Cunningham! What a run! What a fantastic run!
He was outstripping the wingers then.
Last tackle for Saints. Joint. Shields to win it! Peter Shields has won it! St Helens have got that famous victory! Brian Noble knows he speaks now! Where has he plotted this one from, Ian Millward? Where on earth has this performance come from? I'll tell you where. From the world champion team!
And that's the reason why they have it plastered all the way around this town. World champions 2001. This man is just outstanding. Look at the pace. The wingers were struggling to pull him down. And from this position, what a wonderful end to a fine performance, not just for this fella Shields, but for a team effort. Absolutely superb. You chance your arm and you pick up the spoils. Get the champagne popping now, because it's been one of those sort of games. No blood beer on show today. It's pop, pop, pop.
Well, I said during half-time, on nights like this, and this is our first visit to Knowsley Road this season on Sky Sports, but on nights like this job is easy. Sculthorpe has missed with a conversion, but I don't think that's going to matter. 38-26. They've got 45 seconds remaining.
Wonderful effort, and a wonderful effort by the crowd as well. The Bradford fans, they're not leaving. They want to witness, they will know they've been part of something special. But it's the St Helens fans underneath us on the commentary box. They will raise the roof when the hooter goes.
They will, because it's a famous win. It's a memorable win. And St Helens have got just 10 seconds remaining. They'll just take the tackle now. Listen to them, counting down to 2 valuable points. Brilliant, breathtaking, fascinating, enthralling. You can use any adjective you like. This has been a very, very special night. The World Club champions have earned their colours tonight. Wellens stood in for Sean Long. Sculthorpe stood in for Tommy Martin. Take those two out of any other team in the business and they would have struggled. Not this Bradford beaten, but they know they have played their part in one of the great games in Super League's history. And Bill Arthur has got one of the heroes with him, Kieran Cunningham of St Helens. Bill, it's all yours.
Kieran, to beat the Bulls any time is good, but to do it in that sort of manner must be really satisfying.
Oh, we're really proud of ourselves today. You know, we're missing Sean for the rest of the season. Spirits are high in our camp. Sean's a vital member, but, you know, we've got a lot of great players in our side, and everybody stood up today and was counted, you know. Everybody kicked up, and as you said, I think young Timmy's got it, and Timmy's deserved it. He's played some outstanding football so far this season. He's outstanding today.
I should think when people said going into the game that you were going to struggle because Sean and Tommy were missing, well, that was a red rag to a bull, if you like.
Well, they say the victory's even sweeter when you face a lot of adversity, and we was today, you know, and it tastes good.
Well done, cheers, Kieran.
Cheers, bud.
Now then, a great choice of live action still to come tonight across 4 Sky Sports channels. It's live Speedway on Sky Sports 1 now, Eastbourne against Ipswich. On Sky Sports 2 tonight, there's live US Tour Golf from day 3 of the Memorial Tournament. Following us here on Sky Sports 3, there's live Greyhound racing from the Derby final. And coming up tonight on Sky Sports Extra, there's live International Rugby Union, the first test between Canada and England. And don't forget, Tuesday night is Origin night. Yorkshire face Lancashire at Headingley, a Great Britain test trial featuring all the top players in the game. It's on Tuesday, the Origins, but boy, Super League has produced tonight 38-26, a classic. And who's the man of the match? Well, Tim Yonkers is the man who got Steve-O and Phil Clark's vote. Even though he's not on that caption, he goes home tonight with the Tissot watch. And there is the man of the match with Bill.
Tim, congratulations. There you go. There's the watch that you get for tonight's performance. And to get man of the match after a game like that, in a game like that, must be really special.
It was a tough game. We knew it'd be tough all week, but training was really, it went well all week, and it paid off.
And when they came back at you in that second half, were you worrying?
Well, we've got to say the first half was a lot better, but I think we was on the backwards foot, and they got a good roll on, with a quick play of the balls, but I think we got a bit tired as well.
Well done, Tim.
Thanks very much.
Quietly spoken, but Harold Williams of Harrogate can pick a player, and so can Steve-O and Phil. Well done, Harold. You're off to the grand final on October the 13th at Old Trafford. And if it is St Helens against Bradford Bulls, they'll have to get an extension at Old Trafford, because if that's what 2 points is worth to these two clubs, what would the trophy itself be worth, Steve-O? I've nearly lost my voice. It's been one of those nights.
It certainly has, and full credit to all involved out there, the coaches, everyone, the trainers, because what you witnessed today was something very, very special indeed. Eddie and myself, we were pleased to be here, pleased to call it, because it's one of those classic games that we will never, ever forget. We talk about the courage and the strength. We've often said that we're so far behind the Australians. And remember, the Kangaroos are coming over here at the end of the season. With courage and with skill like that, Eddie, we're in with a great chance, I can tell you.
Absolutely, and we'll see the very best of the British game in that Origin match on Tuesday night. Phil Clark has played with distinction for his club and his country. Phil, that was, well, a wonderful advert for this wonderful game.
I felt privileged just sitting at the side and watching it, and I wonder whether Bradford are starting to develop a bit of a complex. Playing against St Helens in big games, it's tending not to go in their way, and as the year progresses, well, that could be a jinx that they come to regret. But St Helens were simply outstanding tonight. They did wobble for a while and put that down to the skills really of the Bradford players, but they came back. Tremendous character in the club, and I go on about Ian Millward. He must be such an inspirational man to the players who come in. They all tend to perform to the best. They lift when they have to lift, and they worked well as a unit, and that got them home against a pretty good Bradford side.
Yes, an excellent Bradford side, coached with distinction by Brian Noble. He's on the losing side tonight. Let's see what he's got to say.
Brian, it was the first half performance that undid you, probably, was it?
I would say so, yeah. We were 18 points down and didn't look like scoring a point, and we didn't have much composure in that first half, and the players are beating themselves up a little bit in there, and, recognising that they've lost the opportunity to get 2 points. So I thought they were there for the taking, and but all credit to Saints, they found their way to win, and on their first half performance, and couple of tries at the end there, they thoroughly deserved it.
It must be really frustrating when you come up against this Saints and they do this to you.
Well, it's frustrating because we didn't play the way we wanted to play in the first half, you know, and we didn't blow up or get angry at half time. We sort of recognised that, listen, we're our own worst enemy. It was a teeth of a wind, you know, it was quite a strong wind, and we knew that we'd pull some points in the second half by playing fast. And again, full credit to Saints, you know, they're right at the end there of the first half, last 10 minutes, they scored 18 points on us, and you know, you've got to look at our defensive capabilities in that first half. There were some people missing when they don't normally miss. But that first half was one of those days at the office. We put it right in the second half. I'm really, really proud of the way the boys turned it around, and had they had a bit more composure with 12 minutes to go and a call had gone our way, I'm sure we'd have come up with the 2 points.
Thanks, Brian.
No worries.
Brian Noble, he is noble in defeat, isn't he? But boy, has this win for St Helens really opened up the top 5 race, and this will go right down to the wire. Now then, what is coming up? Well, if you can catch your breath, Yorkshire against Lancashire. If Steve-O and I can get the throat lozenges out, we'll be back with you on Tuesday, 7:30 Sky Sports 1. It's got quite an act to follow. Steve-O, one of those nights again at Knowsley Road. An absolute privilege, a pleasure to be here. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Goodbye. Quick hands from Saints, jointed in, looks wide and finds Robbie Paul. To Gilmore, they're in again. Thought about the offload and got it in the end to Nicholl. Nicholl to drive in and over. Inside again, it's fantastic this. Stewart's away! Stewart's away! What a try! What a try!
Storm, one of 25 movies now showing on Sky Box Office.
I'm not afraid of the internet. I'm not afraid of hackers.
I'm not afraid of companies 10 times larger than us.
I'm not afraid of companies 10 times smaller than us.
I'm not afraid of new technology.
I'm not afraid at all.
By offering everything from telephone services to advanced digital solutions, WorldCom helps people embrace technology rather than fear it.
New Harpic Power Foam. It clings, then expands under the rim, so you can clean the whole toilet effortlessly. New Harpic Power Foam. Expert cleaning power.
Tomorrow, find out for yourself if Observer Sport Monthly delivers something that sports coverage has long needed. Exclusive Darren Goff interview in The Observer tomorrow.
Conventional washing machines have only one drum. Your clothes go round and round.
Dyson machine has 2 drums that turn in opposite directions at the same time, so your clothes move in a totally different way. This 2-drum wash action is more efficient and twice as fast at releasing dirt from your cottons. And of course, with 2 drums, the Dyson will even wash a king-size duvet. The new Dyson washing machine. 2-drum, not humdrum.
Didn't want to lecture her before she left for university. After all, we'd just end up arguing.